Well, hello everyone. You here to show you the Easter basket story coloring right here. As you see right here, as I went ahead and drew right here is a picture of an Easter basket, and along with you say some Easter candy, and then of course an Easter egg it is, and then of course right here as you have right here as I drew right here is a picture. Say example right here. It's like say Jesus Christ right here is being crucified on a cross right here, and which most of the time that people probably say if they were to go to it's like a church event it is, and knowing about that whenever you go there, no hold the meeting about Easter it is, knowing about the fact about it's like with about when Christ was crucified it is. But of course, go ahead and add some colors right here for the detail right here as like of the cross, and knowing about the fact about knowing about is like you would remember those songs that were sang is like by like other artists, as music artists. It's like it's like I think J.C. Talk and along with Carmen. It's like those type singers that they would it's like be singing a song along with a few other of the songs that I remember singing in church. It was that knowing about what's like we say is the Easter event goes. It's like that if you're on the mountains and the sea, it's like and I can see in your love forever, and I can see it in your love forever. And then another song I remember was here on here in I think if I can remember, I can remember a little bit of the song, but it goes like an yeah, so here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. But other than that, is talking about, it's like we say, it's like if you can sing, but knowing about is the details that of course I'm putting right here. It's for the scene right here, knowing about that a lot of times if I were to go to church, a lot of times that you don't go as much as I used to, but anyway, the times going to church and knowing about the fact that a lot of times that they would have like what you call a big window right here is like the window that would have like what you call other decorations on it, of course, and from those decorations that you see is that they would have see here, go ahead and add a little bit, maybe say purple, but other than that if you were to work with with light colors like with the yellow, and then of course with the light orange it is, but they would have a window where they let the sun shine in to the window it is, and then they would have like what you call is the Christ as he's crucified, and then they have the cross right there, and then of course you walk to the church, and then knowing about that it's like get ready for the ceremony where you they would do the service it was about giving bread and wine, of course, and I think that with most churches that they have grape juice and stuff, but other than that the type of things that I remember going to the church it was that you say is I guess they have like what you call St. Methodist, but on the other hand too that they would also have Lutherans, and then knowing about the fact about it's like knowing about how they say were to celebrate and say worship it is for so far as a worship service. But other than that you have right here is the details right here is did with the Easter egg, and then knowing about with most of the time people probably think about the whole meaning about Easter it is for it's like with most kids it's like if you draw like an Easter bunny right here, it's like you got the Easter bunny. And of course, it's like knowing about with me that a lot of times I like doing during the church activities it's maybe just to draw something, just to say whatever that comes to my mind, just draw it out. But other than that, it was not an Easter bunny though. If I remember right, I drew back in 1994, I think it was, over there at the church I went to with my mom, and of course with my dad too, that I drew an eagle. I remember, I drew an eagle, and that the eagle would represent what you call is like so far as the facts about knowing about the freedom and life it is that I really did not even know exactly what it stood for on your hand too, that knowing about yeah, that it's a pretty good eagle, ain't it? Because I remember that friend of mine used to get together and knowing about that yeah, that can you draw this, can you draw that, and it's like, but on the other hand, too, knowing it kind of reminds me a little bit of say movie Hop a little bit. It's like you got the bunny right here, bunny rabbit. But anyway, it kind of reminds me of a story that whenever I was young, of course, that I remember that I would sit by mom and dad. It's like mainly my mom, of course, and say I guess they equal the same. It's like with my dad, it's like he had the time to do a few things, and then of course my mom, of course, had time to do a few things too. But the activities I remember doing with my mom, of course, was filling the Easter basket up with with Easter eggs, and then of course the other goodies it was. It's like you got right here. It's like a baseball shape of an egg right here. But a lot of times it's like Easter would come like about, I guess they say it's like every Sunday. I can't remember if it ever came on a Monday. It is, but anyway, for Easter Sunday, that you put the goodies in the basket, and if I can remember right, that I would go to bed that one Saturday night, and then a lot of times the basket will be empty. If I remember right, that yeah, the basket would be empty. That there would be nothing in the basket whenever my mom was like, whenever my parents would put me to bed. It was, and knowing about was like with the empty Easter basket, knowing about on Sunday morning is to know about really about it's like if it was filled with any goodies and knowing about you've been a good boy or you've been a good girl, something like that. But other than that, knowing about with the Easter eggs, and then by the time the next morning would come, and that's whenever you start seeing it's like the Easter eggs, that would see about a few Easter eggs and some Easter goodies. It is that see some Easter goodies. I guess I can use like the crayons as like an example. You say it's like maybe some other Easter things that you normally see inside of an Easter basket. It is. But I remember that one time I asked for a dry erase board, and then knowing about the fact that I have one of those things, and knowing about that, yeah, that about how many days are in the month of April. It is. It's like they have like what you call it's like the boogie boards nowadays, but they have for April it's like I don't know if there's ever been like maybe 31 days or something like that if you count out day to day to day. But I remember I wanted one of these in my Easter basket. It was, and then I remember that there was a note that was in there that was right. Okay, I'll get it later, but here's some goodies. But on your hand too, that we could probably think about is like that knowing about we do our homework is knowing about counting days between now and the next year. It would be like what you call go ahead and for on. It's like it would be like 68 so days left at counting so far as until the next year. It's like 60. Do this right. 68 and times. See how many. If you were to figure that out, there would be about 5 months. I guess. See 68 days. Say if I did that right, but say about 340 days. I don't know if I did that math problem right, but I guess between 6 months or something like that, that would be about maybe 3 days and 340 days. It is. It could be about maybe 3,400 hours, something like that. Anyway, if we do that math problem and knowing about exactly how many days equal, but other than that, you have right there is for the dry erase board and a few magnets it came with. But on here and too, that knowing about is like the story about is like with the Easter bunny, and knowing about exactly is like the location from when Christ was crucified. Knowing about it's like he died on a cross that takes sin away. It's like knowing about the song that I remember reading. It's like knowing about that. If I can maybe rephrase that, it's like you take it high in the sky, you take it low. It's like to the ground. And like you take Jesus Christ wherever you go. Just tell me who's tell me it's like who's telling the story. JC. Jesus Christ is telling a story. But other than that, I a lot of times think about that. But other than that, it's talking about with right here It's like with the Easter story. It is right here. It's like you got right here is the Easter egg, and knowing about that, the fact about the decoration about the Easter egg is knowing about it's like what's in the egg is like for that certain surprise. That special surprise is like knowing from the Easter Bunny is like is that surprise for me? Other than that, it's talking about what you call it. It's like for the the story. The story is like it's like in the Easter basket. Talk about it's like the story, the Easter basket story. It's like so far with the coloring of the Easter Bunny.